Hey Libra. It's funny because, gotta be honest, coming into your reading and Cancer's readings, what I just did before this, is usually more of the difficult readings emotionally, or just like, not just emotionally, but just like it's an interesting feeling. But both of your energies this month feel like a lot more accepting in this season, and I think it's just because Taurus season is so nurturing and so easy to fuck with, and you guys just appreciate the bluntness about it right now, because I think what really came to me last month right away with you guys with this is that we're bored of drama. As much as we could see it being played out by some Libras, I think we're just over having to maybe work harder than we think, or having to put all of our wands into one place, or put all of our energy into one place. And I think we realize it's just not for us. And it's really important that we express that. And you realize that like things can change, and like that this season is more about you and about you being seen, whether you like the way you like it or the way you don't. It's just happening. Cancers are being accepting about honesty, and so are you. You're just receptive to what's happening in your life. And sometimes honesty comes in the sense of like being somewhere and realizing like this energy, doing this doesn't serve me anymore. And I know I talk about that a lot. It's very much yoga philosophy, and I know we don't always have the privileges to do that or the place to do that, but you start making a plan and making steps. And that's what made me realize that it's possible. It's possible. And you'll know when it's time to switch or do something a little different, because you'll start to feel a certain way, or a nudge or a call or something. And I think us more than anyone, or I shouldn't say it more than any other sign, but I love to communicate with the universe. If I'm constantly seeing numbers or rainbows, like, oh, that's what I should name this. It's Rainbow Sunrise. I know, I'm so good. I'm so kind to us. But it's because I know us, and I'll tell us the hard truth when I read it. But it's also not always easy to read yourself, and I'm really open with understanding that now. But I'm reading Libras, not me. But I do relate to some things, and we have a lot to deal with. I think we've learned a lot. We've matured in the ways that we need to, and I think we're just ready for that next footing. We're ready, and we have to understand that that comes with more flexibility in a different way. That comes with more of us being guided and understanding that everything that happens is you being guided, regardless if you want to see it that way or not, and regardless of who you believe is guiding you either. But also the magic in that is that you don't have to control it. And that's a theme that has come up, that with each section. So I did the mutable signs, and I did the fixed, and then the mutable, and now I'm in the cardinal. And I realized that this fixed, what Taurus is this fixed earth is showing each section how, like, being very potent of like, if you're fixed on this, that's where you might be stuck, or where you think that you put too much energy, or where you, whatever it is that you want to say, that's what it's doing. So it's your thought process, it's how you think about things, it's being open to things, it's being open to the magic, because the timing is right. And if you let yourself feel good, look good, say what you want, do what you want, do more of what you love, use what you have, be surrounded by flowers, celebrate yourself, be around people that make you feel good, watch your fruits of your labor start to flourish, and just be excited about each step along the way, then you're going to start creating more than you even think, and it's not going to be so hard. Because I think, and this might just be a mixture of things, but I think what we've come to realize is that we're the only ones that we've known this, and I'm sure we've been told this, but we're the only ones that get in our way. And then we see other people come out with things or say things, and then realize like, oh yeah, I've definitely thought that before. And you realize like, oh, maybe I am like someone who sets mental trends, or can set mental trends, but like in a way that actually helps people. Or maybe what I'm thinking isn't weird or stupid, or I shouldn't do that, but I should do that, and I should try that. And who cares if I'm fidgety? Who cares if I like to do this or do that? It just becomes more of that, and it's nothing to be afraid of. that's a beautiful power that you need to learn to wield, because why not? If you can shift and change and not be so stuck on the way you think in a certain way, or be too extreme in the way you think, but yet voice what you think and the insights that you've received by everything that you've been thinking about, wondering about, maybe having conversations about. Now you're not afraid to say what you believe, and it's just about what you believe. It doesn't mean that you're putting it on other people. You're just like, I want to say something. I have something to say. I have something to be vocal about. It's these insights that I've been having for a while now. The reason why I've been a little more quiet, or just, not as talkative, is like the things that I'm realizing that really build me up and what makes me very seen in a certain way. I'm now going to give you more of myself, be a little bit more intimate with myself, and yet there's so much to do, and you're not going to get stuck in those certain places as you once did. That by speaking these things gives you power. It gives you the power to be who you are regardless. It gives you, and what do you learn from that? Well, you learn like who wants to stick around you right now, because people come and go. Like sometimes they come back, and you're just meant to just flow as it is, and you have your people that you love, or you have the certain things that you care about more so, and they're always like willing to see you and not judge you, just like you don't judge them back. And it's funny because we have judgment out here, but it's like you're stating your boundaries even clearer. You're being more descriptive of what you want. You're being and understanding something about how you're seen, and it's very extreme from the Hermit to the Four of Wands, and you're learning how to run with that. Then there's some of you that might be like, maybe you need to be quiet. Maybe you're being told to shut the fuck up. Just saying. It's really clear though, more than anything. They're going the same way. Don't be a fool. Say what you mean. Don't be a fool to grandiose things or stuck to a certain mindset. Be a fool in the way where you know that the energy coming towards you has everything to do with what you've done and how you've learned, and how you've learned to accept certain things and accept what you can't control, and say that whole prayer. But like, for real, accept what you can't control, realize what you can. See, in some of you though, we'll get more into it when we look at the second part, which will be in a Patreon link below where we go through the cards. Some of you might realize a few people, maybe 3 people, really are. And you may be very vocal about it. It might be somewhere where you thought was a place of stability, and then the closer you got, you realize it's not. It's not as stable as you think, and you realize that, well, most things aren't, and if I could do this here, why can't I do it on my own, or why can't I do it in a different way? It's bottom of the deck. Very Uranian, very eclipse-like. It's not making you stuck anymore. It's making you understand the truth of who you are. Yeah. It's like you're finally willing to see that these qualities are important. They're important for you to realize who you are. Thanking people. Yeah, cool. But letting other things fall off. Letting whatever doesn't matter go away. Realizing, seeing things in a way that are a lot more honest and true. Doesn't mean they're not positive. And we talked about that before too. Your nature is changing. Some for the better are negative, some for the positive. Just depends on who you are, where you're at in your life, and where you're at in this journey, and for hopefully it's positive for you. And I think Taurus season is pushing you to be more blunt, to be more open, to be more direct in a way that doesn't need to come out of nowhere. It's like we've seen this, we saw this coming. And like, you don't have to hide too much or shift too much. It's learning to really own what it is that you're willing to speak. You know, not all is what it seems right now. Matter of fact, you're the one who may realize the most. Some of you may be doing it. Some of you may feel forced into doing it. But the beauty of this is that the eclipses are more about, oh, and this is Aries. This is also an insight into Aries too. The eclipse is changing. You're getting ready. You're understanding what's coming. If this can happen with Taurus and Scorpios, you're kind of like, shit. Libras and Aries are next. I know that hits more of the houses, but you'll feel it too as your sun sign. You're learning to deal with what you've decided, what those consequences have been, and now you're finally open to seeing. And the best part is you're unafraid to say it. You're unafraid to go for it and know that it doesn't have to be true forever, but right now, that's the way it is with me. And then you feel more free and change just happens. So I talked about time with Cancer, so you might want to watch that. You might want to watch the Aries video too when it comes out. That'll be lightest. So keep a lookout for that one. All information to work with me is below, and if you feel so inclined, there's a link for payment and donation based. I will have my calendar just put out in the future instead of a whole website as I'm shifting. But I think it's just easier right now. Patreon link for the second part is below. And if you want a sneak peek on that, I did the full Libra video last month, and I used to do it months before, but I do feel like I'm just owning it, you know? And I'm also really appreciative too. What you can see though is that change is going to happen. Time moves a certain way. It's not linear. It's not fixed, but it's fixed in how you handle it. There's more to come on that, but I'm going to stop there. It's really important that you allow yourself to grasp this season, but not grip. And that's a big thing I learned in yoga when I was teaching it and feeling it in my body. When we grip onto our muscles, sometimes we don't realize we're gripping. And then you release a little more, and then you release a little more, and you get more relaxed, and you get more relaxed, and you realize, wow, I've been gripping for so long. And my body is very talkative to me, and because I've wanted to. And I believe you can only learn things if you want to. It taught me over and over again how much I was holding on to. And eventually when I finally became more and more relaxed in my life, when I was holding on to something, it would be very obvious because my body would hurt and be in pain. And that's like the last thing it goes to. That when you're more relaxed and you can just learn to grasp, you don't have to be in fight or flight as much, or you don't have to be in this, what some people think is indecision. You know that you have to choose in order to eventually choose the best or choose what you want and go where you want. If you want the freedom you desire, you need to also take that responsibility, and that's a big part of it. You want independence, and if you don't, you'll throw the responsibility elsewhere. It's just really important that you choose, and some of you might be relocating. So, yeah. All right, I'll see you next month and in the second part.